Have you ever felt that knot in your chest or a constant tension in your shoulders when you think about something that happened in the past? You know, that lingering feeling when someone really wronged you? What if I told you that those physical sensations aren't just in your head? They're real biological signals that something is wrong. That feeling is your nervous system trapped in a state of high alert. Science is now showing us that holding a grudge, that deep-seated resentment, literally keeps your body in a permanent fight-or-flight mode. It's like your internal alarm system is stuck on, and it's physically damaging your health over time. Today, we're going to dive into the fascinating biology of forgiveness. We're not talking about just letting things go mentally. We're talking about how to literally rewire your brain to break free from the physical prison of resentment. Think of lingering resentment as a kind of software virus for your brain. It slowly, day by day, reconfigures your neural pathways. It's not just that you feel mad or upset. Your entire biological system is stuck in a feedback loop that tells your nervous system you were never truly safe. Every time that memory pops up, your body reacts as if the threat is happening right now. Your heart races, your muscles tense up, and a cascade of stress hormones floods your system. We're going to explore some cutting-edge neuroscience to show you exactly how this happens, and more importantly, how you can break those circuits and finally release the physical weight of the past. This isn't about forgetting what happened or excusing bad behavior. This is about reclaiming your own body and your own peace from the biological grip of bitterness. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, what I call the biology of bitter. How does your brain take an old grudge, something from years ago, and treat it like a clear and present danger? It all starts with your amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. When you were first hurt, your amygdala flagged that event as a major threat to your survival. Now, every time you recall that memory, or even something that just reminds you of it, the amygdala fires up again. It can't tell the difference between a past memory and the current reality. To your brain, the lion is in the room right now. This triggers a chronic cortisol loop. Cortisol is our primary stress hormone. In short bursts, it's useful. It gives us the energy to fight or flee. But when your brain constantly perceives a threat from an old grudge, it keeps pumping out cortisol. This sustained release keeps your muscles in a state of constant tension, ready for a fight that never comes. It keeps your heart rate elevated, putting unnecessary strain on your cardiovascular system. Think about the metabolic cost of this. Your body is burning a huge amount of energy just to stay in this state of hypervigilance. You're constantly scanning for danger, replaying scenarios, and bracing for impact. It's utterly exhausting, and it leaves you with little energy for healing, growth, or just enjoying your life. This isn't a feeling. It's a physiological state that's draining your life force, one memory at a time. This constant chemical storm leads to what feels like a nervous system lockdown. We move from these invisible chemical spikes to a very real, physical feeling of being frozen in the past. Have you ever felt emotionally numb, disconnected, or just completely drained after thinking about an old hurt that's not you being weak? It's a specific physiological response. It's called the dorsal vagal response. The vagus nerve is a massive nerve system that helps regulate our internal state. When the sympathetic fight-or-flight response goes on for too long without resolution, the body's last-ditch survival strategy is to shut down. This is the dorsal vagal state. It's a state of freeze, of collapse. You feel exhausted, hopeless, and dissociated. Your body is trying to conserve energy because it believes the threat is inescapable. This is where we need to understand the crucial difference between intellectually moving on and achieving a true physiological release. You can tell yourself 100 times a day, I've forgiven them, or I'm over it. You can rationalize it, understand it, and make a conscious decision to move forward. But if your body is still stuck in that dorsal vagal freeze or that sympathetic fight or flight loop, you haven't truly released the grudge. Your nervous system is still holding the score. The intellectual decision is an important first step, but it's not the final one. True forgiveness, the kind that brings lasting peace, happens on a cellular level. It's when your body finally gets the message that the war is over and it is safe to stand down. So how do we send that message? How do we break this cycle and actually change our biological response? The answer lies in a remarkable property of our brain called neuroplasticity. This is the biological mechanism that allows us to change our emotional baseline. Neuroplasticity simply means that our brain is not fixed. It can change, adapt, and literally rewire itself based on our experiences, thoughts, and actions. The neural pathways that currently trigger anger, resentment, and fear when you think of a past event are strong, simply because they have been used so often. They are like well-trodden paths in a forest. Every time you ruminate on the grudge, you're strengthening that pathway. But here's the beautiful part. You can consciously choose to build new pathways. You can intentionally weaken the old, automatic resentment loops. How? By engaging your prefrontal cortex. This is the more evolved, rational part of your brain, the CEO, if you will. The prefrontal cortex has the power to regulate and override the amygdala's primitive alarm system. When the amygdala screams, "danger," based on an old memory, you can train your prefrontal cortex to step in and say, "Wait a minute, I recognize this feeling. This is a memory, not a current threat. We are safe now." By repeatedly and consciously shifting your attention and your interpretation of the physical sensations, you begin to starve the old resentment pathway of energy and build a new, calmer, more regulated one. You are actively teaching your brain a new way to respond. Now let's move from theory to action. Knowing all this is great, but how do we actually do it? We need somatic tools for release. Somatic simply means relating to the body. We need to use our bodies to signal safety to our brains. The most powerful and accessible tool we have is our breath. Specific breathwork patterns can directly influence your nervous system. For example, a slow, extended exhale sends a powerful signal to your brain that you're safe. It tells the amygdala to stand down. When you take a deep breath in, say for a count of 4, and then breathe out slowly for a count of 6 or 8, you are manually activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system that counteracts the fight or flight response. Practicing this for just a few minutes can begin to shift your entire physiological state. Beyond breath work, we can use other techniques for vagus nerve stimulation. Remember the vagus nerve? It's our pathway out of the stress response. Simple things like humming, gargling, or even splashing cold water on your face can stimulate the vagus nerve and help shift you out of that sympathetic fight or flight state. Another powerful technique is gentle movement or shaking. Animals in the wild literally shake their bodies to release the trauma and adrenaline after a chase. We can do the same. If you feel that tension building, stand up and gently shake your arms and legs. It might feel silly at first, but it's a primal way of telling your nervous system to discharge that stored up stress energy. These aren't just psychological tricks. They are direct biological interventions that help your body exit the state of threat and enter a state of safety and regulation. Let's put it all together. The journey from resentment to release is a biological one. It starts by recognizing that the grudge you're holding isn't just an emotion. It's a physical state that's keeping your nervous system on high alert, flooding you with stress hormones and locking you in a state of freeze or exhaustion. But you are not powerless. You have the ability to change this through neuroplasticity. By consciously using your prefrontal cortex to reframe the signals from your amygdala, you can start to weaken those old, painful neural pathways. Then you bring your body into the process. You use somatic tools like intentional breathing and vagus nerve stimulation to send a clear, undeniable signal of safety to your nervous system. You are telling your body on a cellular level that the threat is over. It's not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't. It's about creating the biological conditions for peace to arise naturally. With consistency, you are not just moving on. You are rewiring your nervous system for lasting emotional restoration. You are reclaiming your energy, your health, and your right to feel safe and at peace in your own body. The past may have written the first draft, but you hold the pen to rewrite your biological future. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the biology of forgiveness. I hope this gives you a new perspective and some practical tools to begin your own journey of release. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe for more content on how to work with your nervous system to create a healthier, happier life.